I'll say that since no other state has got this condition and that it was supposed to be temporary, more than 70 years, almost 70 years have elapsed, and therefore the country should be integrated once again as required under Article 14. All must be equal before the law. I would say that this article should be abrogated forthwith, and the whole of India should function under one law. Thank you very much.
That was very brief, Mr. Swamy. You took only 5 minutes.
I'll take the rest of his time.
I'm afraid that would be unfair. In any case, it's loaded in your favor, as he pointed out. And now, can I please call upon Mr. Jethmalani?
She had a change of heart, so she wants to.
Mr. Jethmalani will oppose the motion.
What? I'm supporting the motion, no?
Opposing.
Opposing the motion,
Right.
please. Now, I'm always amused by whatever my friend says, and I'm one of his admirers. But the trouble is that he is not a lawyer, and nor has he read the documents. The Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir was not framed by the Constituent Assembly of India. It was framed by a separate Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, which did its work from 1951 to 1956 and completed it.
54.
And no. It completed its work in 1956, and the Constitution came into force in 1957.
First of all, let me begin by saying that Mr. Jethmalani is wrong when he says that Article 370 exists in the J&K Constitution. Please ask him to name the clause in which I just been through the internet. Every clause, no reference. The only reference to the permanence of 370 arises in an agreement. I'm telling you. Come on, I've seen it just now. Two, only reference ever made to the Article 370 being permanent was an agreement, was only in the agreement or accord between Sheikh Abdullah and Indira Gandhi. And that is not a constitution. Maybe Manish Tiwari thinks that Indira Gandhi was the constitution and constitution was Indira Gandhi. First of all, this debate is framed, should Article 370 be abrogated? Firstly, if it can be done legally, we'll do it legally. But if it can't be done legally, then like Abraham Lincoln faced with the division of United States on constitutional principles, he said to hell with constitutional principles, sent the army and united the United States. So, is Kashmir a part of India? Of course, from centuries. All our holy shrines are in Kashmir. Is Kashmir, therefore, it is our duty to integrate it fully. Now, can it be done legally? I have already said so, that the only thing that exists today is Article 370, which is titled temporary measure. From hearing the speech on the other side, it appears that they have already decided whatever the Constitution may say, it is permanent because of a variety of compulsions that they point to. No country can be bound in compulsion when it comes to the identity of a nation. We believe in equality before law, and there's a constitutional principle that has to be established in Kashmir. When 500,000 Kashmiri Pandits were driven out, saying, get out, you're not a Kashmiri, of people who have been through generations and were there even before those who who claim that they are today the owners of Kashmir. Even before they came, they were there. They were driven out, and in our own country they became refugees. Therefore, Article 370 died the day Kashmiri Pandits were driven out, and therefore to rectify that situation, we have to abrogate it, and if it can be done constitutionally, we'll do it constitutionally. If they want it by some other means, well, we are ready for it, because as in Hyderabad, when the Nizam became obstinate and the future of the country depended on Hyderabad being part of India, army was sent and taken over because of Sardar Patel and not because of Jawaharlal Nehru.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy. Mr. Jethmalani, you were saying something on that.
There's an express article in the last chapter of the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution, the third clause of which article expressly mentions 370 as being adopted by the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir as a part of the Constitution. Name the clause. Bring the text here. Have you got a Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir?
Okay, let's take the next question. I think the audience will be able to check that in the last chapter. You say it's in the, if you could just repeat.
Yeah, I believe it is Article 141.
It's in the last chapter. Right. Okay, we just take the next question. Thank you.
Let's have a bet.
Okay. Okay, the wager is on, but we'll just...
If I lose dinner anywhere in India, if he loses dinner anywhere in the world.
And let's make that a Wazwan in Kashmir then.
Can't we have a better bet than a mere dinner?
We have Dr. Swamy.
Well, you see, first of all, I'll start with what Ambedkar said. He said, I am not a traitor. I will not move this bill, this amendment seeking to introduce Article 370. Now, the essence of that is that we don't measure the integrity, sovereignty, unity, identity of India in terms of what is economically good and what is economically bad. That comes secondary. First and foremost, you must have your identity intact, and here it is abhorrent to all Indians, that I know majority, overwhelming majority of Indians, that there should be two constitutions in this country. Until 1975, there were two prime ministers in this country, one in Kashmir and one in Delhi. And therefore, we want this unity of India process to be completed, and Article 370 being a temporary provision. On that assurance, it was passed in the Constituent Assembly, otherwise it wouldn't have passed at all. That must go, whether it's economically better or economically worse for the state of Kashmir. I don't believe that economics is dependent on any of these things, as the sanctions that the Americans have put on so many countries has gone completely against whatever they are intended to do. So it's not a sanction, it is not something that protects you against some invasion from India, as Jawaharlal Nehru once loosely said that it will be invaded by Marwadis in Kashmir if you don't have Article 370. It's got nothing to do with that. If at all anything has happened, it is 500,000 Kashmiri Pandits have been driven out because of Article 370, and we have not been able to do anything about it. So we want it as an emotional principle, and the economics of it we can take care of afterwards.
Thank you. Yeah, could you, Mr. Jethmalani, I think this bet, you could just get some clarity on the bet between you and Dr. Swamy.
Now, Dr. Swamy, as a layperson, he's not a lawyer. He has the full freedom to say whatever he likes about law, which he doesn't understand anyhow. Now, here is Article 147 in the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir, which is passed by the Constituent Assembly of Jammu and Kashmir, and it came into force in 1957. It talks of the power of amendment of the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir in 147. But it adds a proviso, provided further that no bill or amendment seeking to make any change in the following will ever be moved, that the provisions of the Constitution of India as applicable in relation to the state. 370 is a provision in the Constitution of India applicable to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, that the Constituent Assembly and Parliament of Jammu and Kashmir will not even move an amendment ever.
Thank you. I think Dr. Swamy has something to say. Yeah, you could just take the mic. You don't have to get up.
And
Yeah, Miss.
I will, even law students will agree, and they are already agree, because they agreed that it can't be amended at all. But
Well, since you're their teacher, they wouldn't dare.
May I
Just a sec.
No, may I just supplement?
Sure,
may I just
sure.
supplement the corresponding provision?
Yeah, after Dr. Swamy can take over.
May I just supplement? Then Dr. Swamy can reply. May I just supplement the corresponding provision in Article 370 of the Constitution of India that says, notwithstanding anything in the foregoing provision of this article, the President may, by public notification, declare that this article shall cease to be operative or shall be operative only with such exceptions and modifications from such date as he may specify, provided that the recommendation of the Constituent Assembly of the state referred to in clause 2 shall be necessary before the President issues a notification. And there's a specific bar in the Jammu and Kashmir Constitution that you cannot even move an amendment to an article of the Indian Constitution which is applicable to Jammu and Kashmir. I hope the two of them clarify the situation.
Yeah.
First of all,
Just a sec, ma'am. Dr.
first of
Swamy.
all, there is nothing specific about Article 370 in that. That part at least is. Now it's a question of interpretation. This is not a constitutional amendment. It is a way of terminating Article 370. There is, if there is a constitutional amendment, it would be from via Article 368. So there is a question of interpretation. Mr. Jethmalani is a bad loser, and he has standards which are very difficult to understand sometimes. For instance, he's a great crusader against corruption. I am with him on that, in the black money, etc. But as soon as the corruption is established, then he will go and defend the accused in the court.
Okay, we'll just have one last question before we have the result. Let's go. We haven't taken one from this side. Let's just go.
I agree, it's a lawyer's privilege, and that's why I'm not a lawyer.
My question is to Dr. Swamy. So first of all, great fan of yours. And I think you can answer every question that is bombarded to you except this. Why did Nehru go to London? Why did Jawaharlal Nehru go to London? You mentioned in your speech.
Okay.
Well, you meet me privately, I'll tell you.
Right. We have one more question here. Just identify yourself, please. I'd like to thank all the speakers for a wonderfully lively debate. I have some results here. We did conduct a poll before the debate started. The proposition being, this House will abrogate Article 370 of the Constitution of India. Before the debate, out of the 120 people present in the hall, 84 were for the proposition and 36 against. So that means 84 supported the abrogation of Article 370. After the debate, the number for the proposition increased to 91. And so I guess the